Squeak. Hi knitters. Welcome to PJ Knits. My name is Penny and I live in Central Illinois, and I'm a knitter, a blogger, and a YouTube podcaster. Grab your cuppa and your knitting and let's talk some knitting here the last week of 2022. I decided to move it out into the yarn room today to video because I had everything kind of laid out on the table, rather the bed, and it was easy to get to and see what I've got here. Today's episode is the last one, I believe, for December 2022, and thanks for stopping by, everybody. This is just going to be a quick, she says quick episode, we'll see. Where we just do a little talking about what's going on here at Shea PJ Knits and give you an idea of what's coming for the new year. So anyway, today is Wednesday, December 28th, and in Central Illinois, the sun is shining. It is 43 degrees, a little bit of a breeze, and tomorrow it's going to be in the 50s, which means the snow that we got last week several times will be all gone, and we're expecting rain on the weekend. So this, if I had to say anything for 2022, has been one of those years that has just not been normal in any sense of the words. So just to give you a little touch up, I had went on some knitting adventures. Went with my friends up to Lake Geneva to celebrate our friend Bindu, surprise her for her 50th birthday. We spent a weekend up there, weekend before Christmas holidays started, and had a wonderful time on the lake. It's definitely someplace I want to go back when it's warmer. It was beautiful, and I've never been. If I've been to Lake Geneva, I don't remember. But it's a beautiful little quaint town, and I think it could do with some exploring. The only downside is there's no yarn shop in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and I'm kind of sad about that because that would have been fun to visit. But it was a fun weekend, just kicking back and knitting and enjoying friendships, old and new, and I just had a wonderful time. It was nice to get away. It was the culmination of several weeks of a bathroom remodel, a major bathroom remodel that is all done, I'm happy to say, and I love it. And I am decorating it in the Caribbean theme as we speak. So that was a whole lot of fun. I enjoyed that. Came back and spent some time with some friends here, as I usually do, and we had a great little celebration. And then about Wednesday, Thursday, before Christmas, I started getting a little cough, a little something going on, and long story, sad story, for not really, but there are sadder things. I came down with some sort of, sorry about that, some sort of virus that kept me from all of the Christmas celebrations that I had planned. I had a full week and planned starting with Christmas Eve and ending yesterday, and none of it came to fruition. I have been really staying away from people, did not want to infect them, and so let's just say during Christmas I had a little poor me syndrome going on, but again, perspective. There are others who have it a lot worse than I do, and they're just making it fine. So we're going to move on here to the knitting, just to give you a little heads up. And I'm feeling better, just a little raspiness, but that's nothing sort of new. So anyway, I want to talk about what's going on here on my bed, and let's talk some knitting, okay? First up, I want to talk about advents that I did during the Advent season. First up, I did the Chelsea Yarns one, 25 days of Sparkle Minis. I'm not going to show you those all today. Those are on my Instagram as a daily post under PJ Knits on Instagram. I've not decided what I want to do with that. There was a couple of free patterns and a hat and a long cozy cowl. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, so I've sat those aside for now, and And maybe a wrap. I really have been thinking hard and serious about another wrap because I really enjoyed my one that I did last year and added mohair to it. So that's really kind of maybe a New Year's project, yet to be determined. So that was a fun one to open each day. And my friend Brenda gave me a Door County coffee and tea Advent. It was all coffee, all a pot a day. And I so enjoyed opening those up and having those each day, whether I had them in the morning first thing or during the day. It was so much fun. And it is something that if I don't receive as a gift next year, I definitely will purchase for myself. The Door County Coffee Co. Advent, because that was fun. And then finally, I was so pleased to be a part of 4 ladies, 2 that I just know through social media and through my friend Peggy. She invited me along to be a part of this group that swapped, did 6 days of minis for each of the 3 others and the 4th. And so each day I got to open a new mini from each one of them. And what I had decided, as I did last year, is I decided that I was going to do a square a day for Advent, taking the day's mini and putting it into my Cozy Memory blanket by Georgie Halloran. And I will in the next couple of days drop some notes down here in the description box, so you all know what patterns and what things that I can post. So should you want to go out and check out some of those things. But anyway, what I did is I put a square into each day into my blanket, and at the beginning of last year, which I did the year before as well, put a square in. What I did on the first day of Advent, I put a unique little marker in. And this was a gift from my friend Anastasia last year to signify where I started for Advent. And then as I worked across, when I finished up the final day, I had another really sweet marker that I put in to signify the end of those days. Then Sunday was the 25th, so it was Christmas, so I did another red square because for me during the year, every Sunday is Scrappy Sunday. This one came from my friend Annetta. And then because I was one square shy of completing and having a whole, I did for my final one, I added a square just to complete that. And what I did is Dawn from Frivolous and Frugal last year sometime turned me on to, or maybe the year before, turned me on to these monthly markers by a maker. And so that the end of each of the months as I was working, I would put this end of the month marker in the final square. And last year I decided to go. I had been working lengthwise the year before, and last year I decided to add width to it. So as you can see, I have those monthly markers all the way down there, just to kind of signify each as I came along. I started the year out last year, 2022, with a unique marker so I would know where I started. And so what I did is I was adding to the width. Now, I get the question all the time, how long are you going to make it? Long. I want to be able to put this on my queen size bed, okay? So here is the length that I started, I want to say 2016-ish is when I started it. And I wasn't very faithful in the beginning about putting a square a Sunday, let's just put it that way. But now I try to be every Sunday. So come the first Sunday in 2023, I will start it again. And I'm not sure. I think I'm going to keep going widthwise again. I think I'm going to keep going across here. But this is a culmination of it. And I'll put on Instagram later this week the whole thing so you can see what it's all, but this is all minis that have either been gifted to me through Advents. I have done that. I've had friends who had finished up socks and had given me minis, and some are my own as well. So I have a lot of minis in that. Once they go into this blanket, then I have been throwing them into a pile that I was doing a crocheted blanket, which I remember this one I started in 2016. And I don't put as many rows in it as I should. I'm not, at this point in time, I kind of think what I'm going to do with that particular blanket is maybe finish it off and call it a wrap and give it to hospice maybe. And then I think the minis, I'm gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start something new, not a mitered square with it. I think I've got a big cone of cream fingering weight yarn I think that I want to put the two together and just do a squishy blanket and either donate it, to hospice or make it another one for downstairs or for a grandchild that, that might want a blanket or whatever. But anyway, so this was part of my Advent calendar of this super group of 4 ladies, and I hope that they will invite me back next year to do it. Then what happened on that same thing is on the 25th, everybody was to send everybody else a gift to open on the 25th. And for me, that was so much fun because not feeling great, not being able to be around people, and there were no presents underneath my tree for me, except for the ones that I got from my lovely ladies as part of this Advent. Now, I was not without gifts, guys, so don't feel bad. I had some friends who sent me some wonderful gifts. I had gifts that I received up in Lake Geneva, so let's not go there. I'm just saying it was fun to have something to open on the 25th. And I'm just going to share a couple of the things that were in my little gifty things with you because I just think these were super, super cool. I received an Ikea bag from one of them. And I've never seen these before. We don't have Ikea close to us, but it's one of those that you can roll down, and this is going to be super, super cool for taking a small little project with my knitting, especially in the weather that we've had, or just when you're in the car, being able to put a little project down on the floorboards that get gunk and stuff. So I'm super, super stoked about this. I'd never ever seen this. And I'm super excited about this particular one. This came from Rachel. And then I had, there is a kilt pin, and then a couple of progress keepers as well. A little cookie, which I think is so cool. And definitely will put this on. I love using progress keepers. And I'm going to try hard to use more of them in the new year to kind of show you all what I'm progressing with. And then a little snowman stitch marker, which is perfect for a project that's going to be cast on next week that I'm going to use. So I thought that was super, super cool. And a little kilt type pin that I think this is cute just if I wanted to pop it on a sweater as well or a cowl. So I'm thinking this has possibilities, and just put cute little stitch markers or progress keepers hanging down from it. I think that is so super fun and not something that I had seen before, and I don't know where she got it, but I'm just saying this was super cool. And then I also received, this one was from Suzanne. She made a little postcard. This is a unique idea, and these ladies had such great unique ideas. So I just can't believe that. You guys are upping my game for next year because I really have to start thinking hard about being a better swapper. But anyway, it's a postcard keeper. And look, she knows my love of Snoopy. And inside were some templates and how to do that, some postcards, some templates for that, and some postcard stamps, which is wonderful that I can make my own postcards. I also received a really cool packet of postcards from my friend Annetta that have all occasions on it, and that will be fun to use. I think a postcard is a really cool way to go, and I have a little container for my postcards. So this was super, super neat too. And then one of the other little gifties that I wanted to share with you, this came from Peggy. Peggy is my knitting friend from years and years ago. We were doing other crafts at the time and reconnected through knitting. And so she loves gadgets. And it was funny. Peggy's note, and I hope you won't mind that I'm sharing, talked about how she loves gadgets. Do you know how I love gadgets? And you know what, Peggy? I'm with you. I love a gadget too. Totally love a gadget. And so I got this lovely, she's done some traveling, and so I got this lovely stitch marker case is what I'm going to use it for. And I'm going to put my my stitch markers in it so that I can get to them, along with some other things. She also put this unique, you can use this as a shawl pin if you want. Whoops. Sorry. It went flying. Anyway, we'll find it eventually. A shawl pin, or you can use it as a cable needle as well. I'm not sure where it went flying, but anyway, we'll find it. But you get the gist of it. I'll show it again. And some cool little sheep to use for holding stray ends. I'm going to put it right there so it doesn't go flying. And I already have in my bag one of these that she made me last summer for counting rows and keeping tabs of things. So it's in there as well. And then a lovely set of stitch markers that she picked up on one of her travels. Delft blue, which I totally love. Blue is if you don't know, blue is my favorite color. As a child, I had a light blue room, and I loved everything blue. I love turquoise. I love all the blues. I love the blues of the Caribbean. That's my jam. But I also love the blues, and this is the Delft blue stitch marker. I thought that was so super cool. Was part of the gifties, and then some stitch markers as well. So there was some really fun and lovely things underneath my tree, and I'm so pleased that I was a part of this group. And like I said, I hope they invite me back next year, and I'm going to up my game, because it was one of those years, and I've already started pulling yarns for it. So anyway, that was so much fun. So that was kind of the Advent stuff that I was doing. Then, on a whim, Grocery Girls they were doing their giveaways, like, I don't know if it was 12 or 14 days on Instagram. They were doing giveaways, and just for grins and giggles, or shits and giggles, whatever, just for those things, I entered one day, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to enter. I don't even know what it was for. I'm just going to do it just for fun. One of the things, wanted to know one of your favorite recipes, and of course my favorite recipe for Christmas, and I made 3 batches of it this year and ate half of it, is my mother's peanut butter fudge. That, no, I don't give the recipe out. Upon death, you may ask my heirs for that. But anyway, so on a whim, I entered, and guess what? I won. And so then I received that gift. Between Christmas, was almost at Christmas time. Yeah, it was a Tuesday before Christmas. And I opened it up after I got home, and I want to share what was in there. I got a lovely bag, Grocery Girls bag. Was in it. And then, whoops, I received, it's the Mini Magpie Darling Hat and Palm. So there's a mini hat in there, and you can see that little palm, okay. I received that. I received this lovely tin from Firefly Notes. I received this from Hugh Loco, this kit of yarns, Color Riot, and I've seen on her Instagram ones that she's done after I received this, and so there's a shawl or a wrap out there that I think I'm going to investigate in the new year. So I thought that was super, super cool. If I do a pattern in it, or even if I just put it into my blanket, it is the merino sock, and it's called Color Riot. It's City Kitty and Middle Child. So that was in the box. And then finally, this is so cool because this is something I was seeing a lot on Instagram, and I was thinking, next year I think I'll do a stitch marker. I think I'll do a stitch marker advent just for fun, just to change it up a bit and do something a little different. And this was in the kit. This is from Firefly Notes as well. They are in British Columbia. It is an advent calendar. And it is all 25 days of stitch markers. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. I'm going to put it in my closet. I'm going to save this for next year. This will be next year's. And as I open them, I will put them in to here as well. So I have one of my advents already set to come for next year. So that was so super, super fun. A nice, wonderful surprise to see from Grocery Girls. And I just on a whim, I did everything they told me to, and I won. I was just so surprised. When I received the notification, I was a little like, is this for real? And then I went back and did a little investigation, and it was, and I won that day. So I thought that was super, super cool. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. Now, so that's kind of the advents in a nutshell. What I want to talk about next is the Burak Cowl. This is just a reminder that we are going to start this knit along on January 1st. I am participating with a slew of other podcasters, and as part of this, some of them are doing it all differently. Some are doing it as a year-long knit along. Some are saying you can do any Marie Wallen pattern. Others have a shorter time span. For my purposes, I am hoping to have this done by the end of the July, which would be the Frivolous and Frugal mini meetup, and they are a part of this as well. So anyway, we're going to cast on January 1st. If you follow Dude Knits, he is having a cast on Zoom January 1st at 10:30. Check out his Instagram on under Dude Knits and get all the specifics on the Zoom. I am going to participate there on the cast on. I think I'm going to already have cast on come 12:01 January 1st. I tend to be up late on at least most days, and definitely on New Year's Eve, enjoying ringing in the new year. And so I'm going to cast on 12:01. So I'm wondering, y'all, comment below. Is that something you want to do? You want to cast on at 12:01 with me for the Burak Cowl? This one, certainly if you don't want to do that, I am going to do my best to also be on his Zoom at 10:30 because it's just a great group to be around. We are doing the Burak Cowl by Marie Wallen. I have purchased her Shetland book many years ago, and now I understand if you get the book, you will also get a link to do a Ravelry download. I did not have that option, but anyway, Burak Cowl is what we're working on. We're going to cast on, and here it is. And one of my goals for 2023 is to perfect my color work. I've done it. I am do it sporadically, and you know, as anything, if you don't continue to do it, you don't continue to develop the skills. And I really want to develop that skill in the year 2023. I want to do more color work and invest and just and grow myself and just give myself some challenges. And do with Shetland yarn, I am doing mine. I purchased the actual yarn that is in the book that is a spindrift. I purchased mine from Schoolhouse Press, and I have it. So we're going to cast that on. I'm casting on at 12:01. And the cool thing is I received from a friend a lovely new bag. And again, I do not know where she bought it, but this is the brand, and what it has at the top is 3 grommets to feed my yarn through, and so I am going to use this as my bag for my cowl, and I have all of my yarn in there. I went with, as I said, I went with the colorways that are in the book that Marie Wallen used. This is in Jamieson's Shetland Spindrift. And so I've got a nice little bag for it. I found my needles last night, so I am all set to go with that. There is a hashtag, hashtag Burak Cowl 2023. My hashtag is going to be hashtag PJKnitsburg Cowl. So you can follow that, follow my progress. And again, if you want to, feel free to come on over to Dude Knits on January 1st at 10:30 and join the fun. I'll be there. And if you're interested in casting on with me at 12:01, let me know below, and we'll figure something out. That would be super, super fun. Okay. Christmas knitting. I did finish one project, but because I had this virus and couldn't be around, I have not been able to gift it to a certain person. And if you've made it this far, I'm not showing it because it's all wrapped up, but I just want to make a little shout out and say, Lucas, Grandma loves you, and I'm so glad you watch. I'm so glad you watch, honey. I love you, and I can't wait to see you and watch you open what Grandma bought for you. And to see Mama, to see how she likes what she's got underneath the tree as well. So anyway, that's super, super fun. I will show pics in the new year, and so you can get an idea. But one thing I can tell you, I started it with the keeping track of it in my knitting journal. I started it on November 22nd, and I finished it December 22nd, sorry, 1 month for this particular item. And I was a monogamous knitter during that, with the exception of my little squares. That's all I knit on for a month. And that, for those of you who know me, that is a rarity. So anyway, 1 month. And I felt so good after it was done. So, let's take just a little cuppa break. It is so wonderful to stand here and be able to see sunshine outside. It's sunshine for me makes all the difference in the world when you can't get out. I have taken down most of my Christmas decorations. I don't know about you, but I generally would right after we've been together. But I still have one tree up and my Snoopy's in the basement. Just haven't gotten to them yet, but I do have my tree, but it still has presents around it. So I'm kind of waiting, to take those all down later. So that's kind of my plan after my local kids get here and we get to open presents. Then maybe next week I'll take the tree down. So anyway, that's mostly what I've got done. I've got most of my thing. I've got a pile of, you can't see them, but I got a row of things that have to go into the attic. But I'm waiting till the tree. So, okay. Final thoughts here that I want to talk to you just a little bit about. I am a knitting journal. I like keeping a journal with my knitting. And so I have got this one. This one was my 2022 journal. It is full of lots of things. It has my goals. It has monthly, I put a page in for each month at the beginning of the year to kind of keep myself on track, kind of think about what I should finish or would like to finish during that month, especially if I have something that I want to have done for knitting camp. I kind of think, how long will it take me to do that and when I'd like to have that finished. So just kind of as a focus. The thing about those monthly days is this. I do not stress over it. If I don't get it done, it gets an arrow to the next month. So I have my knitting journal here, and I've been dolling it up with washi tape and stickers. I'm getting into the sticker game. So I have that. In the very front of the book, I have placed last year my sweater measurements so that I know what to do, but I also have a page for 2022 finished objects. And each time I finish an object, I give a little hash mark to it. So I just like to keep track and see what did I really knit on in that year. And so I put that in there. I've got various other things in here. I always have pages, multiple pages for my knitting projects, putting my notes in it, a ball band, a little scrap of the yarn, when I start and finish. And last year then, as I finished something, I would put, the color for last year was this pink marker, and I would put a mark around it showing what was 2022. And so there will be some things in here that won't be finished till 2023, and they will have a different color around them when I get to that. I put inspiration pictures in there because we've talked about doing a hap also in the new year. I would like to do that. So there's a kind of an inspiration of colorways that I would like to use. I have that. I have some quotes in here. I have a particular one. I have little quotes that I put in here that I like to kind of sort of remember at the time. As we go through life, we start to understand that it's not important to have a lot of friends. What truly matters is to have real friends. And I think that's kind of cool. So I put little quotes in there. I am keeping track of gift yarns. I have since 2015 that I get from friends and family. So I am putting them in my notebook so I know where they're at. And things that I would like to do. And again, just knitting adventures, where I'd like to go, things I like to do. And I'm going to do that more in my 2023. I'm going to use it more as a journal of that type thing. I'm going to try and keep it chronologically. What I found as I was going, I had some extra pages. And so I was putting some notes in there from podcasts that I had watched. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. But what I really want to do is make it more of a knitting journal, things as we go through, a diary, of course, of things. I put in here fun things that I'd like to knit on, what I want to knit on for fall, winter as they come to me. I had a couple of sweaters that I wanted to knit on, and maybe they'll make it into the 2023. So I have pages for that. I have possible winter sweaters that I want to do, and this is such a fun thing to look back on. I am also keeping track of in here of presents that I give to knitting friends, like the girls that I did the Advent from, so that I don't duplicate it next year. Is kind of my thought process. If I get a fun card from somebody or a thank you card from a knitter, I pop it in my book, as well as fun little labels. This is a mail call one that I got. So I pop all of these things into my knitting journal as a way from my knitting friends, just as a remembrance, much like a scrapbook that I did years and years ago as a teenager. And I just think that is super, super cool. I put my Advent calendar swap in here, along with swatches of everything that came from each of those, and then what the final gifties were. So that was kind of fun. I popped in the Chelsea yarn one, and I saved kind of a page a little bit for a future project there. I put something in here, and when I decide that I don't want to do it, I make a little thing that I cut bait and the date I did, because it was no longer relevant or I wasn't feeling it. And then I had some notes, again, like I said, about podcasts that I watched that I'm not going to put in here this year. And then again, cards. And then I have a few blank pages that I will fill in, I think, at the end of the year with just a recap of my knitting, of where I was and where I'd like to go for the end of the year. And then at the very back, I put a little index of sort. I have numbered all of my pages, and so I have made an index in the back and the pages that those things can be found on. So that's my 2022. And then finally, in the almost the last page, I have sweater colors, and this is 2022 wardrobe. These are colors of sweaters that I have for each of the seasons, so that maybe going forward I don't make another sweater in that colorway. No guarantees and no apologies, but I've got that, a little list. Just, you know, when you start to put them in your bins and your drawers and that, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, there's another maroon sweater. So I've put that into my 2022. So that is my 2022 journal. Really scrapbook, knitting related in a nutshell. Now, I like that format so much that I bought another one, only in a new color for 2023. And I received for my birthday some stickers. I was trying to think, was it my birthday? It was my birthday, from some stickers that I have placed on the outside. And so I have started my 2023 journal. I have just kind of, I have listed my knitting goals. And these knitting goals are not unlike years past. Let's just put it that way. So far, whips, work through. And again, I have a lot of whips like some of you do, some of you don't. I do not, and I repeat, I do not apologize for them, and I'm not counting them anymore, and I'm not telling you how many. Just suffice it to say that I have a lot of whips, and I'm okay with that. My goal is to hashtag knit whips, work through them. I want to knit again. I have gift yarn. I want to knit through that, make a conscious effort. I want to knit from my library and stash. I want to perfect my color work. I want to have challenges. I want to do some new designers again, instead of going to the old faithful ones. Or I want to challenge myself with my knitting for the new year, specifically in sweaters. I want to bring back my epic lace project and get busy on that. For those of you who were in Illinois or in the Midwest, when I was a kid, and I think this radio station is still around, I don't know, but when I was a kid, and this was 50 some years ago, when I was a teenager, the only really cool radio station was one out of Chicago. It was WLS, and I'm sure they're still around. I don't know what their aesthetic is anymore, because since then we have developed local radio stations that are what I'm going to call hip or you know, my kind of music, from, and not in the 65 kind of music, but when I was in high school, or current music. But anyway, so when I put this in here, it was like WLS, Whips Library Stash. That's kind of my goal for 2023. And I have started I have gotten my monthly pages in here, and that is about all that I have in this particular one, along with my goals. I haven't went too deep into it because we're still in 2022, sorry. So anyway, that's kind of everything that I have for you. I will be back in the new year. We're going to start talking, we're going to be knitting on the Burak Cowl. We'll talk color work. I am going to talk more about sweaters. There's so many sweaters that I want to knit, and I can't wait to delve into those now that, you know, that my Christmas knitting is done. So I do want to finish some projects, and I've got a couple, and that's what I want to do in the new year. I want to do some knitting adventures. There is a lady that I follow that I see that she goes everywhere, and I know, and so I just feel like in the new year I need to branch out, and I need knitting adventures to continue. I'm going to take you along with me, whether it's, you know, I just think there's some knitting adventures on the horizon. A group of us are going to Montreal in May. I am so looking forward to that. I've never been, and I can't wait. I've never been to Canada, and so this is a cool new thing for us, and to be around some other podcasters that we met at the Frivolous and Frugal meetup, and a bunch of us are going from locally here from Peoria, which is going to be super, super fun to get together with them. So I'm totally looking forward to that in May. Come, as they say, hell or high water, I am going, It's going to be fun. Knitting camp will be coming back up in July is the plan, and that's always a wonderful time for seeing friends. And then I'll meet up with our traveling group again, and who knows what 2023 will bring. So I'm closing the chapter on 2022. It was tough. It was tough. But you know what? I have friends, I have family, and so life is just, is rich. And I am grateful. I am grateful. I am grateful that I have this place, and that I can do these things. I know that not everybody is as fortunate as I am. And I know that there are a lot of people who are going through things, not just for themselves, but for their partners, or have been. And I know that you all have too as well. So for those of you who have reached out and shared your story, I know. I know. So, but anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, dear friends. Thank you for helping me to build this community. And I hope that I inspire you to do some more knitting. I hope that I inspire you to adventure out. I hope that you will come back. And I thank you so much for your friendship. And I look forward to 2023 and where knitting will take us. Hopefully some of us will meet up in person. And until then, until the new year, be safe, be happy, enjoy life, knit on with confidence and hope through all crises. Thanks for joining me.